I would like to thank the sponsors for tonight, the Mishpachas Streitel, Lila Nishmas. Everybody remembers Rabbi Shai Aryeh, Rabbi Menashe, somebody who was always, the Rebbe's Inyonim were first and foremost of importance by him, and he was always mishtatev in any way that he can to further the Rebbe's Inyonim. As was a good veteran for the Mishpachas, for all the Yidden in Montreal. And also, Rabbi Avram Cohen, Lili Nishmas, his father, and the Shver Rav Moshe of Rav David HaKoyen, and Rav Chaim Rav Leo Alevi. So it's Lili Nishmas HaKoyen Alevi M'tai Yisrael. Okay, I would like to introduce our special guest speaker. The emphasis, he needs no introduction because he's a homegrown product. He's somebody who was he's here from Montreal, even though he left many years ago, but still we all know him, and he's well known. But first I want to talk a little bit about his school subways, because his father was the well-known chassid, Rav Moshe Rubin. By the way, it says by the Rambam, it says, Mi Moshe vad Moshe leikom k'Moshe, that from Moshe Rabbeinu until the Rambam, there wasn't anybody like Moshe. The Shalom HaKodesh writes that Moshe Rabbeinu is b'gematria Taryag, Tofresh Yud Gimel, and the Rambam wrote the Sefer Rambam, which encompasses all Taryag mitzvahs. And Moshe Rabbeinu is also the same Moises of Moshe Rubin, by the way, in case you didn't know. And he's a well-known chassid. Everybody, those of you that remember, he used to daven word by word. It was mamash aduk mechaye. It was like unbelievable to see how he used to daven word by word with his chassidische meises and his verbringen. But that's the schus of his. He also has his own schusim, is that he's a shliach of the Rebbe to the capital district of Albany, and he's also Mashgach HaKodesh, the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivas Harmbam. Yeshivas Harmbam. And he does in Torah, and he does in Tefillah, and also the Achnos HaSorchim, which is called Tefillah Moshe, on the way from those that travel from Montreal to New York, if you ever need place to stop to daven or to learn or to eat something, that's the place to be. So with no further introduction, our kosher guest speaker, Rav HaChassid, Rav Yisrael Rubin.
Shalom Aleichem, everyone, and good evening. It's really a pleasure to be back. B'yani Amelech Hadoro, B'yam and even though the main focus tonight is on the Rambam and on the Rebbe's Takana to learn Rambam, I will preface it or give background to it in a personal kind of way, which, as Rabbi Kramer mentioned, it goes back to my father. You know, the Rambam had a very special style. The Rambam, especially Mishnah Torah, in contrast to the Gemara and the Mishnah that always says Davar b'Shem Maimrei. Every Mishnah has Meir and Rabbi Yehuda and all the different opinions quoted by name. And Gemara certainly sometimes has a whole string of names, Rav Yehuda, Rav Shila, Rav Basi, Rav Yochanan. Sometimes it goes even longer. So the Gemara, as it says in Pirkei Avos, Kol Ha'omer Davar b'Shem Maimrei Mei V'Gula L'Olam, and it's very important for the content of the matter to know who said it. And the Rambam was soil a very different derech, and the Rambam omits all names, and it's very rare that the Rambam would write, quote, a name of the Tana or the Amoira who said this. I remember once he mentions Rav, Talmido Shel Rabbeinu HaKodesh, but very, very rarely does the Rambam bring the source and the names of his halachas. And the Ravid disputes this. The Rabbi, the Baal HaSogis, who was always commenting on the Rambam, sometimes very respectful, sometimes very sharp. The Rabbi says, even in the Akdama, right way, he says that he's not comfortable with quoting things without the name, because if you would know the name, you would know where the source from is. Maybe the halacha is like him, isn't like him. So this is a very special, unique style of the Rambam, that he does not quote any names. It's very dry halacha, on and on and on. But there is one exception in the very beginning that the Rambam personally mentions himself. And that is, after he gives you the 40 dairas, he gives you the Shalshelas HaMasayra, Shalshelas HaKabbalah, exactly how everything came from Moshe, 40 generations till Rav Ashi and Ravina. The Rambam gives you his personal name, his father's name, the date, and Asvardi, where he comes from. And he says, and after Tokfut Tzaras, and it got very difficult to remember all the Gemaras and all the sources of the halachas, the Rambam says, Shinatzti, Masnai, there's different Girsais there, exactly how he says, but the Rambam says, I got up, and Ani Moshe b'Maimen Asfardi, and the truth is that the Rambam was very little part of his life in Sfard in Spain. He was actually there, I don't know, before his bar mitzvah, right after his bar mitzvah, he was chased away from there, and he had to go into Golis, him and his family, his father's family. And so it's interesting, and it tells you exactly the date when it is, that even though the Rambam just sticks to the point and is not into the personalities, the Rambam at the very beginning starts off by saying how he comes into the picture.